If you're a young Catholic, you just witnessed history. Not just any history, but a moment that will be talked about for generations. A moment that will be remembered as a turning point for youth and faith in the 21st century. Imagine being part of something so big, so electric, that you can feel the energy pulsing through the air, the kind of event that makes you realize you're not alone in your beliefs, your hopes, or your dreams. Maybe you were there, standing shoulder to shoulder with friends and strangers alike, or maybe you watched from afar, eyes glued to your screen, heart pounding as you saw the sea of faces, each one lit up with excitement and anticipation. If you're not, you'll want to see what made a million hearts beat as one. Because what happened in Rome wasn't just for Catholics or even just for Christians, it was a message for the whole world, a call to unity, hope, and courage that transcends borders, languages, and backgrounds. The world just got a little brighter. Here's why. Rome was electric on August 2, 2025. The city, already known for its ancient wonders and spiritual legacy, was transformed into a living, breathing celebration of youth and faith. Streets were filled with music, laughter, and the sound of a million voices singing in dozens of languages. The anticipation had been building for months, with young people from every corner of the globe preparing for this pilgrimage. Hotels were booked solid, hostels overflowed, and families opened their homes to welcome guests. The city's landmarks, St. Peter's Basilica, the Colosseum, the Spanish Steps, became gathering points for prayer, song, and friendship. Picture this, over 1 million young people from 180 countries all gathered at the University of Rome Tor Vergata, ready for the Jubilee of Youth. Flags from every nation waved in the summer breeze, creating a tapestry of color and unity. The air was thick with anticipation, as if everyone knew they were about to witness something extraordinary. The logistics alone were staggering. Buses and trains brought in waves of pilgrims, volunteers handed out water and food, and massive screens broadcast the event to those who couldn't get close to the main stage. But despite the crowds, there was a sense of peace, of shared purpose that made everyone feel like they belonged. This is the same spot where, 25 years ago, their parents stood with Pope John Paul II. Back then, it was World Youth Day 2000, a moment that inspired a generation to dream bigger, love deeper, and serve more boldly. Now, a new generation stood in their place, ready to write their own chapter in the story of faith. The echoes of the past were everywhere, old banners, faded t-shirts, and stories passed down from parents to children. But this was not just a repeat of history, it was a renewal, a fresh outpouring of hope and energy. Now, it's their turn. The torch had been passed, and the youth of today were ready to take up the challenge. You could see it in their faces, the determination, the joy, the sense that they were part of something bigger than themselves. For many, this was their first time traveling abroad, their first time meeting peers from countries they'd only read about. Friendships were formed in an instant, as language barriers melted away in the face of shared faith and purpose. And then, the moment everyone had been waiting for, Pope Leo XIV took the stage, cheers everywhere. The crowd erupted, a wave of sound and emotion that seemed to shake the very ground. Cameras flashed, flags waved, and tears streamed down faces as the Pope smiled and waved, his presence radiating warmth and encouragement. For many, seeing the Pope in person was a dream come true, a once-in-a-lifetime experience that would stay with them forever. But it wasn't just about the celebrity of the moment, it was about the message he brought. His message: don't be afraid to share your faith, speak up even when it's hard, stand tall, even when you feel alone. The Pope's words rang out across the field, carried by speakers and echoed in the hearts of everyone listening. He spoke with passion, urging young people not to hide their beliefs, but to let them shine in every aspect of their lives. He reminded them that faith is not just something you keep to yourself, it's something you live, something you share, something that can change the world. He called on young Catholics to be bold, to bring their faith into schools, to be a light in the places where it's needed most. Whether in the classroom, the cafeteria, or the sports field, he challenged them to be examples of kindness, courage, and integrity. He acknowledged the challenges they face, the pressure to fit in, the fear of being judged, the temptation to stay silent. But he reminded them that they are never alone, that God walks with them every step of the way. And it didn't stop at school. The Pope called on young people to bring their faith into every part of their lives, social media, work, and even politics. He spoke about the power of a single post, a single conversation, a single act of courage to spark change and inspire others. He encouraged them to use their voices, their talents, and their platforms to stand up for what is right, to defend the vulnerable, and to build bridges instead of walls. He reminded them that faith is not just a private matter, it's a force for good in the world. Not just to talk about it, but to live it. The Pope's challenge was clear: let your actions speak louder than your words. Serve your communities, help those in need, and be the hands and feet of Christ in a world that desperately needs hope. Stories poured in from around the world: youth groups organizing food drives, students starting prayer circles, young professionals mentoring those in need. The ripple effect was immediate and powerful. It wasn't just about religion, it was about building a better world, together. The Pope's message resonated with people of all faiths and backgrounds, sparking conversations about unity, respect, and the power of young people to make a difference. Interfaith groups joined hands, sharing stories and dreams. Barriers fell, and new friendships blossomed. The Jubilee of Youth became a symbol of what's possible when we focus on what unites us, rather than what divides us. It was about hope, unity, and making the world kinder. The energy was contagious: smiles, laughter, and hugs everywhere you looked. For a few days, the world felt a little smaller, a little warmer, a little more like the family it's meant to be. The message was clear: no matter where you come from, no matter what language you speak, you have a role to play in making the world a better place, and you don't have to do it alone. Social media blew up. Hashtags like #FaithOnFire went viral. Photos, videos, and stories flooded the internet, reaching millions who couldn't be there in person. The world watched as young people shared their experiences, their hopes, and their dreams. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter were filled with clips of singing, dancing, and heartfelt testimonies. The Jubilee of Youth became a trending topic, inspiring conversations far beyond the walls of the event. Even actor Jonathan Rumi chimed in, calling digital platforms the new mission field. He encouraged young people to use their influence for good, to share messages of hope and faith with their followers, and to remember that every post has the power to touch a life. Celebrities, influencers, and everyday people joined the conversation, sharing their own stories of faith and courage. The movement grew, fueled by the passion and creativity of young people determined to make a difference. So, will a million young voices answer the call? The energy in the crowd was undeniable, a sense that something big was happening, that a new chapter was being written in real time. The Pope's challenge echoed in every heart. Will you be the light? Will you stand up, speak out, and make your faith known? The answer, shouted back by a million voices, was a resounding yes. Pope Leo says, "You are the light of the world." His words, simple yet profound, reminded everyone that each person has the power to make a difference, to bring hope where there is darkness, and to inspire others by the way they live. The Pope's blessing was a call to action, a reminder that faith is not just about what happens in church, but about how we treat each other every day. Are you ready to shine? The question hung in the air, challenging everyone, young and old alike, to step up, to be brave, and to let their light shine for all to see. As the night fell and candles were lit, the field was transformed into a sea of lights, a powerful symbol of hope, unity, and the unstoppable spirit of youth. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories. Whether you were there in person or watching from afar, your voice matters. Join the conversation, share your story, and be part of a movement that's changing the world, one heart, one voice, one act of faith at a time.